Hey, welcome to Day by Day. This is Evan, where I just focus on getting 1% better. And this series is based on the last 7 years and the 20 things that I think are the most important things that I've learned. In the beginning, I just want to say to comment anything that you think that I should go over this next, couple weeks, to like and hit that bell so that you don't miss the next one. But we'll get into it. Okay. This one is powerful. It's powerful because it has to do with God, the universe, or whoever you believe in, and trusting the process. I know it's cliche, but when you align yourself with that energy, everything goes out the window. That has to do with underestimating yourself, doubting yourself, not believing in your path, your journey, all of that in the back seat. You're the driver in this story. And when you believe that God has a destination for you and he will never make it a hard one without reason. So the premise is that, but it just aligns with so many things outside of that. So like when I lost my job in 2024. No. Yeah, in 2024. I didn't skip a beat. And maybe that's just because I'm optimistic. Like that's my natural resonating frequency. I'm always optimistic. I look ahead and it was an experience that taught me, what not to do next time. But the process of that was, hey, like you did something wrong. Are you going to doubt this redirection, this pivot in a way where it's like, oh, this was done to me. Like you know, I'm not going to be able to catch up to where I was. My momentum's slowing down, all those things that can be categorized as doubt, but they're really just stress. It's angst about the future. And instead I took the approach of saying, you know what? No, God did that for me. He got me out of there so that I could go onto the next journey, the next chapter. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't waste more than like a week. There actually no. It was like 2 days. The next day, I think I just put together all my resumes and went and applied the day after that to like 7 different places. I kept applying. It was around the holidays, so it was actually a year ago, about like a year and a couple weeks ago. And when I started to apply to different places, I realized how much momentum I would carry if I just kept applying. So the next day I applied to like 7 different places. The next day after that, I applied to 5 different places. I started running out of places, so I started applying outside of where I lived. And eventually, I found a place that was honestly a nugget, like a golden nugget. And I've been there since February. They were super chill with me going to Japan, like right when I got hired. There's just so many green flags. And Bradley Cooper says it. He said, like when you come across a green light, take it and run. And there's signs every day from from God to let you know that there's a green light coming, and when it comes, take it. But you have to be already in the motion of trusting him and trusting the universe to guide you to those green lights, because the work isn't done by you. Like your job is to move. Your job is to enjoy this process and to live the life that you're living. His job, the universe's job, is to work to put those things in motion, to bring them to you and make them in line with where you're resonating. And that kind of goes back to um what was the segment I did? I think it was energy and chakras, or I can't remember, but I talked about in my recent episodes that however you're feeling is how you're thinking, and however you're thinking, whatever thoughts those are, is what frequency you're putting out to the universe, and the universe is going to send you those frequencies right back in physical form. So if you don't believe in the universe, if you don't believe that the universe is going to do the work for you, and you're doing the work, you're putting in the hours, then it's going to be harder for the universe to create for you. Whereas if you are believing in the universe and trusting in the process, you have more time to enjoy what you have. You have more time to feel better, think about things that you might want or might want to apply to your life. And those things end up showing up in your life. And of course, you have to move forward. You can't just sit there and think, I want $1 million and it's going to fall out of the sky. Like, that's not how it works. But knowing that you can obtain $1 million and moving every day, day by day. Wow, I just quoted my own podcast. Like, I really just did that. Cringe. Ugh. If you move forward day by day, you will end up at a place where you could obtain $1 million. Now, I mean, you might say, like, yeah, but you did it. You put in the hours, you put in the work and made the connections and blah, blah, blah. But there's so much explanation that is kind of woo woo, but if you believe it, you believe it. And why do you think the people that are so successful and resonating at such a high frequency of abundance and gratitude explain this stuff? And like, why do you think they're that successful? I've been studying some of the most successful people this last year, like Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, um, Michael Smoke, um, Joe Rogan, some of the most successful people in the space, in the public speaking and inspirational business wellness spaces. And one thing that I got from every single one of them is that they know that they need to believe that they are worthy and that they already have the things that they're working for, so that their space for it is always there. And how they move forward, how they move towards that, is by just moving towards it, by making those connections, by making these videos, by putting it out. It's not work if it's just a part of getting there. And of course it has to be something that you enjoy and that you're passionate about. So it's not only just a part of what'll get you there, but you'll enjoy doing it because you love it. And loving something is also like a way of saying like it's not work if you love it. But that's truly what it means. It's if you're not thinking about it as something where you have to wake up at 6 a.m. and you have to get, into your car and drive to the studio or drive to the office, or you have to study for 3 hours before you could even do a podcast or invest or whatever. If you're thinking of it like that, like, of course you're not going to enjoy it. It's not going to be an enjoyable experience because you're thinking of it as work. But when you think of it as like, okay, my goal is there, and these things are what I get to do in the meantime. Like, I don't even know what's after the goal. I don't even know what's after what I obtain. And it might be even more of what I'm doing. But if the goal is where I want to be, then I need to start learning how to love this and to love editing and putting together a community and meeting people in the space, because that might be amplified after I get to my goal. So if I don't enjoy what I'm doing right now, then it's all going to be work, and it's going to feel so heavy every time I get to that next goal. So a huge thing about it is trusting that the universe is putting together this path towards your goal. And at least for me and some people that I know, they say that it's like a weight off your shoulders. They, like, I totally believe that for me it's anxiety relieving, it's stress relieving, um it's overwhelming thoughts and doubts relieving. Like, it relieves so much about the process that is sometimes stressful. Now, I'm not going to say that getting to your goal or getting somewhere in life with what you're working towards isn't stressful. Like, when I was training to be a bartender, I found it extremely stressful to be around three other bartenders that have 5 to 7 years in the space, and the bar is a circle bar. So, like, you got 27 seats around you, and everyone's looking at you mess up. It's vulnerable. You're I'm I'm not saying it was easy. It was definitely vulnerable, but I understood that I'm gonna fail. I understood that I didn't know anything that these guys did. I accepted that it would take me time to learn all the things that they do. And that was a part of the process of getting to the next goal, which was to be the best bartender there and to be the most efficient one, to where I'm the most reliable, the most called upon. And that's just me in every space. I like, before, maybe like 5 years ago, that's just who I was. I just wanted to be that, wanted to be so ahead. And when I look back on those moments, that's what got me to the goal. Like, I understood it, I accepted it, like, I knew it was a part of the process. I didn't like, I didn't believe in God and the universe in the way that I do now, but I knew that I would get to the higher stage of wherever I was, because I showed up and I learned to love what I was doing. I learned to be passionate about it. And there's something about the service industry, I swear. There's something about it that, like, that just conditions you to give. And when you give without expectation, you receive more. And so there's like this balance of like this balance between being holy, if you will, like very positive uh and kind-hearted, and then also like cunning and quick and witty. There's like this clean balance, that if you're too witty and too cunning, then they'll know that you're just trying to get a dime out of them. But if you're too kind and wholesome, they'll take advantage of you because you're too kind. But if you're both, if you have this like kind heart of like, look, I'm just giving you a good experience because I love you. But guess what? I got 5 other people that I know that I could do the same thing for, and they'll probably pay the same amount or more. So like, let's make it a good one. Come on now. That type of energy, that like cunning but kind energy, is how you advance uh your tools in your tool belt. Because the more cunning and the more kind you are, that balance of being both, you advance your understanding of other people, of yourself, of the tools that you have in your belt already, how to refine them. Once you become unbalanced, you'll know. If you've been resonating in the right down the middle, like balance of being kind and cunning, uh and then you become unbalanced, like too kind or too cunning, it happens exactly how I described it. Like when I was bartending, it was like I realized that people were taking advantage of me because I was being too kind, or I wasn't making any money or any connections or any good memories with people because I was being too cunning. I was trying too hard. That was probably the biggest lesson or wall that I had to get over as a server and bartender. And keep in mind, I was coming from serving in the same restaurant, so all the bartenders were like, "Oh, he's just a server." I mean, there's videos of and memes of like the bartender, he's like doing, or she is like doing like 10 different things, and then you have the server just kind of sitting there like, "Hey, so I put that drink in like 2 minutes ago. My table kind of needs it." And pans back to the bartender, and she's like doing 10 things under the sun. And so they kind of had that perspective of me that like I wouldn't hustle, but I did, and I surprised them all. I became bar lead. I was the person that was kind of in charge during the shift. Like if they needed anything, I was on it. I made sure that quality was of the bar manager's standard. Like so many things that made me quickly realize, like once I stepped into that role, I quickly realized how powerful it is to believe that you can do it. Fake it till you make it. Literally put your feet in the role before you even step close to it. Like give yourself a tease. Like what would it feel like if I stepped into that role? How many people would I connect with? Uh, who would I influence to become better? How much money am I making in this role? Put your mind there and believe you can get there. God, the universe, whoever you believe in, will do the rest. He'll do the work to make sure that that is attainable for you, but you got to move towards it. So between here and there, you got to make sure that you're believing that you can get there, that it's going to be there. But you got to put in the days. You got to move in in line with that frequency, with that goal. And that's just all about being intentional. I think God's one lesson of for me is to like move with intention. Don't let a, a roadblock pivot you into a direction that isn't yours. Don't let a life event, someone passing or losing a job or losing a home, let you choose something that wasn't meant for you. And now that's very broad, but like, don't let somebody take you across the world and want you to move into somewhere in Florida or somewhere in New York when your heart is in California or your heart's in Utah, wherever you live. But as long as you have, sorry, I'm like staring off into space because I'm thinking so deeply about this. Like if you have an inkling of love for whatever you're doing before the roadblock, maybe you should unpack that before you make the choice. Like I take it back to 2020. I was living with my aunt and uncle, and oh, Lincoln, that's the puppy. What can you do? I take it back to that. Okay, like 2020, man, it's okay. That's my puppy voice. I go, it's okay. Or like when sorry, this is like ADHD rant segment. Uh when when I was raising my dog, oh my gosh, and I'm gonna have a segment on this. When I was raising my dog, it was like, it would have he would have diarrhea or like he would throw up, and instantly I would go, oh, what happened? um no, so I'm in my aunt and uncle's house, 2020, and I instantly get redirected by environment. Like there was so much going on. There was riots in the street. Couldn't go outside. I was working, but it wasn't work. Like you know, I wasn't moving and I wasn't learning. And I got scared. And so I moved in back with my parents, and not that, if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have got a dog and learned some of the most important lessons that I've learned in the last 7 years. But when I did that, I realized that I just restarted a book. Oh, I hate restarting a book. Or like, or just putting a book down like halfway through, getting to part 2 and being like, okay, I'm done with this book. Like, I love finishing a book of life. Like, let me make it clear. I mean, like when you hit a roadblock or you hit a moment in your life where you have to redirect and reposition yourself, and you say, man, I'm just going to put pause on this segment of my life and go do something else. You leave so much opportunity for something to happen while you're not in that book. You don't know what's going to happen. So are you going to go through life with regret of not finishing that book? Like right now, I feel like I'm in the same book, part 2, for the first time. Like I didn't step back. I've been moving forward, and I've been trusting God along the way, and that's what got me to part 2. That's what got me. I'm like a quarter into part 2 of this book of life that I'm in, and I can't say that it's not meant to be, because I've seen things in the last year that were just so crucial and so character building and just life-changing events that made me believe in this process of becoming a better me one day at a time even more. And that's why I name this podcast Day by Day. Because in my darkest moments, I always look back and I'm like, man, it really is just step by step, minute by minute. Forget the day, forget the year. Like, let's just focus on the step it takes. It could be a baby step, but it's still a step. getting 1 inch closer to your goal, to your like that end goal or the journey that you want to be on, is all up to your faith and your belief in creating that end goal for yourself. Like, of course it's going to be there because you moved towards it the whole time. You thought of it, you thought of how it looked, you thought of what it felt like to be there. Of course it's going to be there at the end because you've been moving towards it. But the second you don't think that it's going to be there, that you doubt, that you have anxiety over the fact of like whether or not it's going to work out, slow down. Pull yourself out of that thought and remember why you have that goal. Believe in the higher power that is directing you towards that goal, and it'll happen. There's no doubt in my mind that it'll happen because I've seen it. I've seen people come from literally nothing, like worked at uh Chuck E. Cheese, dude. This friend of mine worked at Chuck E. Cheese, went to a community college paying for his books and his classes because his parents weren't in his life. The He's an accountant. The company, the firm that he went with, paid for him to go to college because he was just so driven. He knew that he wanted to have a stable job, and then he wanted to invest his money in the stock market. So they paid for his schooling. He gets his degree. He's working. He's putting aside every ounce of cash that he can and puts it into the market, into like a 5% return a year fund that's like automated, like not even touching it. He throws it in there, not even touching it. 10 years later, he's got close to $1 million. And now he's trading, day trading, option trading, and making sure that he's reaching that next goal. He already reached the goal of becoming an investor. But getting there, the whole way there, I've asked him, like, what in your darkest moments, working at Chuck E. Cheese, being homeless and losing the job and then finding a job and then paying for your college, like, what was the what was the X factor? What made you push past all of it? And he said, honestly, it was just my faith in that it'll all work out. He was living out of his car, um and he said one night he posted up next to or on a cliff, like a overlooked view, and said, you know what, it could be worse, and God, I'm still able to follow you. And that was the day that he really started believing in God. And ever since that day, I've literally never seen him happier, because the man woke up and accepted that the only way forward is with his feet and legs that God gave him, and he's able to move, he's able to create. So when you start to understand that that's the push and pull, that's the give and take, that's the being kind and cunning at the same time. It's understanding that you have to have that heart to love the process, but you also have to be cunning and smart and do the things that come along on that path, but you need to see it as just a part of it, because God's going to do the work. He'll pull the strings. He'll make sure that you're good and you're going to get there as long as you follow his path. The universe's path for you is nothing. It's as good as you're going to make it. If you think that you're going to end up homeless and broke and scars all over you and no one to support you, you'll get there. Don't worry, you'll get there. It's a lot easier to go down than it is up. But if you believe in abundance of network, support systems, generational wealth, a community of people, of business partners that push you to be better, you will find that. And it'll come running after you. I've had dreams of this journey, of this sale. So I'm not going to explain the dream, but I've had dreams of this journey that if I'm going 1 foot on the sand and 1 foot on this sailboat, it's going to pull me apart and it'll bring me to a place where I'll be spending so much time unraveling the wrong decisions and trying to understand why it didn't work out. When all I had to do was put 2 feet on the boat and sail, baby. Let the wind take you. Let God, the universe, take you to your destination. Don't worry about how long it'll take, how many sharks you'll see, or how many whales hit your boat. Patch it up. Get back on the sail. Keep going. I believe in every single one of you that watches this video, and even the ones that don't. I believe in everybody. That's my faith in humanity. It's a strength and a weakness of mine because I see the beauty in everybody, and sometimes that clouds my judgment of people. But I know how to see the other sides of people that are more unbalanced towards cunning. But I'm there for everyone. And I want y'all to know that this is a passion of mine. And there's no right way to worship the universal energy. There's no right way to worship God and Jesus and whoever you believe in, Buddha. But it's important to at least believe and thank them. Thank whatever God you believe in for bringing you this far. And watch that next day, or maybe a day after the next day, they'll make something happen for you to let you know that they appreciated that time that you gave them, to be appreciative of them. Because it is the most important thing to get to your goal, is to love and be grateful for the path that they set you on. Go ahead and comment anything that you think I left out, or any opinions that you have of my faith. I'd love to answer them for you. Like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. And this is day by day, 1% at a time, baby. Bye, guys.